Let's talk about how to get rid of your stiffness in your body and feel younger again. When I was 28, I was very, very stiff. I felt very, very old. I felt like I was in my 50s. Now I'm in my 50s, I'm 55, and I feel like I'm in my 20s. Back then, I had a lot of issues going on, and I was consuming a lot of carbohydrates. And that is something that I assume that everyone knows about. If you're doing a high-carb diet, that'll stiffen your joints up and create all sorts of inflammation. So I'm just assuming you know that. We're going to talk about the other common causes of stiffness. One is too much iron. Okay, so iron creates a lot of inflammation. It creates problems in your liver. And iron comes from many sources. Like a lot of things are fortified with iron, especially if you're doing grains, which I don't recommend you do, or even pasta and things like that. Also supplements. Some of the top multivitamin mineral complexes come with way too much iron. Iron doesn't really get eliminated from our bodies very well, especially in men, and it accumulates and it creates fibrosis, inflammation, and eventually even cirrhosis of the liver, but it will definitely stiffen you up. So what you want to do is avoid iron. Now, if you have a problem with excess iron, you also want to probably avoid red meat because it's loaded with iron. It's just a side note. And you'll notice your inflammation will start coming down. Okay, number 2, so-called vegetable oils are really seed oils. They're grain oils, and you want to avoid them. Corn, soy, canola, cottonseed. Also, safflower and sunflower are omega-6. These are omega-6 fatty acids, and they're very inflammatory, and they're badly processed with solvents, and these are GMO as well, and they can create a lot of stiffness in your body, so you want to avoid these for sure. You want to replace them, especially when you're doing cooking, with butter and maybe olive oil and coconut oil. On your salad, you can use olive oil, but just realize that the majority of olive oil sold out there is not pure olive oil, and I put a link down below of a video that I did in olive oil so you can have all the data on that. But the point is that if you're doing too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3, you're going to have an imbalance and create a lot of inflammation in the body and stiffness. There's a great test that you can do to pick up your ratios, but I suggest you start consuming more fatty fish, sardines, cod liver oil, and fish oil. Be careful about fish oils. Do not do like some low-quality fish oil. You want to do something high-end because you get what you pay for, and there's a lot of bad things in these very inexpensive fish oils that you want to avoid. So you want to get a high-quality cod liver oil. That'll probably be the best thing you can get. But the point is that this will give you the omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acid deficiencies create inflammation, pain, and stiffness. So if you're on a low-fat diet or you're a vegan, realize that these omega-3 fatty acids mostly come from fish, sardines. You can get them from algae, but you would have to get that in a supplement. But the point is that these are essential fatty acids. They're important. And if you're not consuming them, or you don't like fish or whatever, that can create inflammation right there because you're going to be missing the omega-3 fatty acids. And the 2 primary ones I'm going to focus on are DHA and EPA. So just by taking this, you'll notice that your stiffness will be much better, probably within 1 to 2 weeks. Next one is increasing vitamin K2. What is that? That is a type of vitamin that drives calcium out of the joints, out of soft tissue into the bone, and it works with vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 also helps inflammation in your muscle, and it gets rid of pain in your joints as well. So you might get great benefit by taking D3, and I always like to take them together. What do we see as a common thread between this one and this one and this one? Well, we're dealing with fats, right? So if you have difficulty digesting fats, okay, because there's something going on with your gallbladder, what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to absorb the essential fatty acids from the cod liver oil or the fish oil or even the fatty fish. So you're deficient. So there's a lot of people who have stiffness, pain, and inflammation, and even fibromyalgia from a gallbladder problem. And it's usually going to be on the right side. In fact, it's always going to go on the right side. Because on the left side, it's probably going to be more of a pancreatic type thing because the pancreas and the gallbladder work together. The gallbladder concentrates bile. Bile is only made by your liver. Primary bile is made by your liver. Secondary is made by your friendly bacteria in your large intestine. But what happens is the bile is created, it goes down to the gallbladder where it's concentrated. And then when you eat, it's supposed to be released, and it's supposed to break down the fats into smaller particles, where now the pancreas can release lipase, its enzyme, to take it down to even smaller particles, so then your body can absorb it in the small intestine. So a lot of the fat is absorbed in the small intestine, and then if we keep going in the small intestine, right before we hit the large intestine, that's when a lot of the bile is supposed to be reabsorbed and recycled. So bile is recycled about 95%. So if there's inflammation in that part of your small intestine, then you're going to be bile deficient as well. So you can be bile deficient from a problem in your liver, the gallbladder, your intestine, or the large colon. So there's a lot of other reasons why you might be deficient in bile. The point is that if you're deficient in bile, you're going to get stiff despite taking these remedies right here. And so I'm going to put some links down below to increase your awareness of the gallbladder in relationship to pain and inflammation and stiffness. But I had that problem for 12 years. I didn't even know it was related until one day I learned about it and never had pain there ever again. A good indicator to know if you have a gallbladder problem is a fullness or tightness underneath the right rib cage. The remedy is to take purified bile salts. If you want more information, I put a link down below on that. But bile will help the absorption of these right here. So stiffness, a lot of times, is related to a lack of a certain fat or the digestion of a certain fat. All right, thanks for watching.
Hey, we're back.
With another amazing recipe.
No grains, no sugar, totally keto. There's no suffering in keto.
Absolutely not, Karen.
And it's an immune system builder.
Absolutely. You have to check this out.
I think you should hurry up, watch the recipe, and make it yourself. It's just so easy to be keto.
But is it simple?
It's super simple.
We hope you enjoy making it as much as we are enjoying eating it.
Hey, before you leave, I just wanted to give you a little quick history on some of the books that I wrote. This was one of the first books. It's called Dr. Berg Body Shapes. It was my attempt at writing about body types. What was very interesting about this book is I actually did all the images myself. Don't ask me why. They look actually not quite as professional as some of the images that I have in the new book. But anyway, this is my first attempt right here called Dr. Berg's Body Shape Diets. And then I wrote a book more extensive called The 7 Principles of Fat Burning. I don't even have a copy anymore, actually, because it's outdated. The next book, I put about 1,000 hours into this one right here called The New Body Type Guide. Major updates on the body types. I put a lot of energy into this. It has professional images, graphics, all sorts of things. Now, the problem with this book is it doesn't really describe what this is really about. Body types are only a small portion of what's in this book. And that's why I changed the name to the Healthy Keto Plan, okay? If you happen to have this book, you don't really need this book because there's only very, very minor updates. But if you don't have this, you need to get this one right here. This book goes into every single detail that you would ever want to know about. It goes into the 7 principles of fat burning. It goes into hormones, the body types, the basic keto plan. It goes into intermittent fasting. I talk about the 10 fat burning triggers and blockers and fat burning strategies with a lot of details in every single chapter. I go into body issues that interfere with losing weight. There's very few people that just have a weight problem. They have a lot of body issues, whether it's sleeping problems, stress problems, inflammation, menopause. I cover that extensively in this book. Then I talk about how to get rid of stress, and I show you a technique. Then I get into exercising. And then I have a lot of really good recipes in this book as well. So this is a good reference guide. On my website, if you get this book, you get this one free. It's called Healthy Keto Intermittent Fasting. This is the shortcut, quick guide to this book. And the reason I created this book is to have you, within 45 minutes, learn how to do keto, okay, in intermittent fasting, exactly what you need to do. Then you can fill in the blanks with this book right here. So right now I'm doing a special. If you get this book, you get this one totally free, or you can go to Amazon and get these individually. So I just want to clarify the difference between this book and this updated one right here. If you don't have this, you need to get this right here. That way you can get the exact correct information to do it healthily.